We're here with the HBCU Scroll. Yours truly, Johnny, the Coach Cole, coming to you live. I've been off for a couple weeks. A lot of things are transpiring in my life, and so just trying to prepare myself. But I'm glad you guys continue to follow me. It means a lot to me, and make sure you subscribe to Johnny Cole, the HBCU Scroll. It's about trying to uh, make things be aware of Black HBCU schools, what's happening around the country. This past weekend, it was a big weekend with All-Star Weekend going on, and had a major surprise when they say white men can't jump. I think my man fooled everybody with that deal. I mean, he was jumping over folks and bouncing balls off the bank board and doing. I think he did a 720, as Shaq said. Uh, and dunked the football. I mean, dunked the basketball. Um, Today I had a change on my show. Right now, I had Toriano Morgan, who was the head football coach at Edward Waters, but he won't be able to come on the show today because his plane got delayed, and he has a player down at the HBCU Football Classic that's held down in New Orleans. I think that's a great classic. You got, and it's not only just for Black players, it's for players from HBCU. So when you watch the game today, make sure you tune in, or this coming week, make sure you tune in and show support for the HBCU Classic All Star Game. One of the big things happened in sports was Coach Eric Bieniemy actually left the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs after many years of being there and not being able to get that opportunity to be a head coach. Uh, you know, as we all know, being in the Black college football, being a Black coach in America, that we always got to take the long way around. And there's no question that there's a lot of racism going on with us and getting those positions and with those opportunities are few far in between. And we always getting the worst job out there, But, as they say, if the job was a good job, uh, 9 times out of 10, the guy's probably retiring or taking another job. So, usually when you get a job, it's from a program that's not winning. So that's not an issue, and that's really not a problem. But getting those opportunities for Black coaches is just it's just unfair, And I try to stay away from the pro game because those teams are owned by individual owners, which don't receive no federal money or no state money, or even though our taxes go to building stadiums, but not necessarily directly to the team. So, like they say, if a guy want to hire who he want to hire, or you want to have who you want to have in your home, that's your choice. The government can't get involved. But I think a lot of it happens on the college level, that we're not getting those opportunities. When you have 90% of all athletic directors in college sports are predominantly white and not a person of color, then they tend to choose people who they're comfortable with, or quote unquote, they go by who are their major donors, where everybody knows that most of the major donors are white. And they're white because of, and I'm going to say it, because of slavery, because of they have always got a jump on the African American person. And, that's why most of your CEOs in the country are white. Most of your owners of all the big businesses are white. Most of all the billionaires in this country are white. So they got to jump on us because of slavery. And I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but that's okay. You know, the rules was always been set to hold us back. When they freed us with no land, no opportunity, no money. Um, they broke our families up. And so that was a generation of, it happened 400 years ago, but it still affects us today. Uh, and it's getting better. Don't get me wrong. It's getting better in America, but it's gotta. It's we. I think we need to do something that's uh, real strong. And what I mean by that is all these colleges that receive state funding, that receive federal funding, ought to have some type of affirmative action in that area, as well as presidents. Even when you look at the presidents in these major institutions, um, they're white. And the athletic director is, like we talked about, white. The vice president is white. And so we need to be able to get some affirmative action on some of these or at some of these colleges. Well, how do you do that? To me, I think you go by population. Of course, most blacks are down in the South as opposed to other places. And you go by the population. And somehow you can intertwine that. I think the NCAA should be involved uh, with the hiring practices. And since I'm just into the athletic realm, they should go into uh, the hiring practices of what schools are doing. There's no way that Eric Bieniemy, I know he's on the pro level, 3 Super Bowls, 2 championships, Super Bowl championships, and he can't find a head coaching job. I mean, Jesus, if you're giving everybody else a chance, the Miami Dolphins had a young coordinator, head coach, Arizona Cardinals, Cleveland, he got a chance to even take the job, even though they fired him at Arizona, but he got the opportunity. Who says that Eric Bieniemy will get a head job and do bad? Who says he would do good? But the opportunity should have been provided for him. And those things are happening on the college level. There's out of over 118 college football programs. When you look at the sideline, there's a white coach there. And so those are things that's out there that always drive me and drive my show to want to expose those type of things. But it's just not, and what we would say, the other people, it's us. It's us. So I want to bring on my guest. Uh, he's not coming live today, but he's a Hall of Famer. Let me see. He's an NCAA Hall of Famer. He's a SWAC Hall of Famer. He's a Mississippi Valley State Hall of Famer. He's an HBCU Football College Hall of Famer. My friend, Willie Totten.
Hey, JC, how you doing, man?
Good, Coach. Good. And I was just getting on the thing, Willie, about it ain't, we always say it's them, but it was us. One of the things, I'm going to jump right in it with you. And, I felt your pain and sorrow when you had an opportunity to be the head coach of your alma mater and you were passed on. And I just felt that wasn't right. And those are opportunities that we have that we get passed over on. What are your thoughts?
Well, actually, that was the athletic director's position. I felt that, I had put the years in. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the young gentleman that they chose to be the athletic director, which is one of my former players who've been in the business and been around. I think he had been in the business in like maybe 8, 9 years, but you talking about I've been in the business for over 30 years.
Right.
So, yes, I am. For not getting the opportunity, But I thought I put in my time. I thought I put in the necessary research that I needed to do to get the job. And I want to see Valley be at the top. And I thought I was in position to do that, to help Valley to excel. And I'm still going to continue to help Valley. But I am bitter that I didn't get the opportunity to be the athletic director. And I wish Akeem well. I think Akeem will do a great job. Akeem is one of those guys who applied for the job just like I did. We both applied for the job, and the administration decided to go, I guess, younger, which I have no problem with that. But Valley will always be Valley for me.
Right. Well, and I know you're a modest guy, and but when you look at it on its face, you played there. You still own records there. I understand your daughter goes there. You live down the street. One of your best friends is Jerry Rice, who's a NFL Hall of Famer, and Vincent Brown, and you played with some of the greats. You coached there, which had the last winning season you was there as a coach. And most of all, you're a Mississippi Valley Hall of Famer, and your name is on the stadium.
Oh, well, hey man, look like when I was going through that process, I had a graduate, a female, to come on and ask me what was my name doing on the stadium. I told her evidently, I didn't politic to get my name on the stadium. I thought I earned that. I thought the things that I accomplished and things that Jerry and I will accomplish at Valley, along with my other teammates. I thought I earned that. But for her to attack my character like that, I felt some type of way because it's obvious that she has no idea how things work. I think she just wanted to be foolish. I think she just wanted to act stupid and ask a stupid question like that. And that right there, I started just walk out, man, just take my name out. For her to to say something that stupid, that was crazy.
And that was in the interviewing process.
That was during the interviewing process, which they had open dialogue for both candidates.
Wow.
Like a public, kind of like open to the public. The public can come in and interview or talk to the candidates.
Wow.
Both had different days that we did that, and I went back and watched both. It was almost like it was an attack on me, but they didn't ask him any questions. Everything was almost like the job is yours, but for me to interview, it more like it was an attack on my character, which I thought that was very unprofessional by the university.
Right. Well, man, that kind of remind me when I interviewed at Texas Southern the first time. I was 29 years old, and we was at the Warwick Hotel in Houston, Texas. And I was sitting at the end of the table, and all the vice presidents and AD, and the first question the president asked me, and she was sitting down across from me. She said, "What school did you graduate from?" And I just sit back. That's when I ease back in my chair. And I said, "Well, I know what this is. This is a token. This is because everybody was pushing Johnnie Cole's name at the time." And she ended up giving a job to Bill Thomas at Texas Southern. He went on to do a good job there at Texas Southern. But, those are the type of things that we can't afford to do, but we do it all the time in Black schools.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing, it wasn't only that question. You had the national alumni president, who I thought should have been neutral. He was neutral in the other candidate, but he asking me a lot of questions that, in other words, it had to be like a popularity contest. It wasn't. I don't think it was for the best person for the job. I think it was like, who do I like? So if you had something against Willie Cotton, I can come on here and I can talk about what I don't like about Willie Cotton and get different opinions from other people. And I think that's what it got to. It even got on Facebook that come to the here. It was almost like we were campaigning. And if I knew it was going to do like that, Johnny, I probably would have never even applied for the job. It's just a job. I thought it was an opportunity for me to really, to help Mississippi Valley. And they talk about money. I had 13 business people who was ready to donate money and ready to do the things that we need to do to elevate Valley to the next level. But some of the Valley graduates felt that.
Right.
So I was bitter about it, man. I just didn't understand the National Alumni President. You don't get that deeply involved. But when I listened to the other candidate interview, you don't say anything. Praise
right.
him because
right.
he worked at Jackson State and he worked with Deion Sanders, and look what Deion did. So this is who you put your trust in. And Deion don't care anything about HBCU. Deion care about himself.
Right.
And I don't have a problem going publicly saying that. But still, I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. And I've moved on from that chapter, and I'm going to continue to support Valley, continue to, pay my money like I always have, and keep it moving.
Well, yeah, and I mean, ain't no question that Deion is for Deion, and the things that he done and brought to our conference has been very good, and exposure, and I, of course, me and you talk off camera a lot about it. We wish him well at Colorado, because at the end of the day, he's an African American coach that's getting an opportunity at an FBS school. So we wish him well. I know I wish him well. I think he's going to do a great job. In talking about that, we could kind of converse a little bit, and this is the reason why I think he's going to do a good job. I just feel that players from the South and Florida, and he's got a good recruiting base compared to the kids that come from the West Coast. They're more finesse players. I think he's going to do a good job. How well will he jump off and have a winning season this year? I'm giving him 50-50. The University of Colorado has been terrible the last couple of years, the last 5 or 6 years. But I think what Deion is doing there and the staff that he's put together, I really look for him to do well this year. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he's gonna struggle. I think he got it's a lot. I think that he has to do. I think he put a good staff together, like you said, and I'm so happy that he took Coach
Dancy,
that he got on his staff. Coach Dancy, my former boss when I was working at Mississippi Valley. I think he's a great young coach with a great football mind, and I'm glad that he kept his word. He was looking out for Coach Dancy. He took care of Coach Dancy. But to play in that conference, I think it's going to take him a couple of years to really just kind of get it flowing. I think the first couple of years, I think he's going to struggle, and that's not a hate on it, but I think just from looking at the program over the years and looking at the program, like you say, they've been pretty bad. I see that he recruited a couple pretty decent recruits that he got. He flipped some guys to come to Colorado, but I think it's going to take more than that. I think it's going to take a few more 5 stars for him to come in there and flip that program and be successful his first year.
Yeah, well, I know, and I know we, of course, we cheering him on because, all that does is put a feather in our cap that we can coach on the HBCU level and then come in and really go to the next level. And hopefully, people continue to look at our conference, even though he's gone now. And with the commissioner and everything, it's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? He brought a lot to the table, and it looks like that TC Taylor stepped into some big huge shoes, and so everybody's gonna be looking at him as well. What you think, Todd? With Eric?
I think it's going to be fine. I think TC is going to be fine at Jackson State. Jackson State has always been successful. They've always won. And I think he did fall off looking at his recruits. He didn't really fall off in terms of getting players to come. Those normally players will come to Jackson anyway. I think they're going to be fine. I think the key to TC is going to be maintaining that what Dion had created there. And I think that's going to be the thing that he's going to have to fight more than anything. I think the football part is going to be okay. The marketing part, I think, is where he's going to have to really be strategic and try to maintain that.
Yeah. Of course, he come from a good pedigree. He's a Jacksonian himself, and hopefully he surround himself with some good coaches as well. What you think about the Eric Bieniemy situation? Kansas City Chiefs, 3 Super Bowls, been there a while, had great success. It's always a debate: is he calling the plays? If he ain't calling the plays, is he holding headsets? But then he crosses over and take a job at the Washington Commanders. My personal view is, why go anywhere? I'm gonna be in the NFC Championship game every year as long as Pat Mahomes is playing, and going to the Super Bowl, and I'll just wait to get a head job. What's your thoughts, Coach?
Well, I think he did the right thing. If you look at the game and you follow the Kansas City Chiefs, the camera is always on Andy Reid. Andy Reid is talking to somebody. I don't know if he's talking to the quarterback and he's talking to Eric. And I think that's probably hurt him more than anything. People talk about that he can't interview and he can't do those type things, but he's been part of a winning program all while he's been there. So I think that was the best move that he could have made. Now you can't blame anybody. Now people can take that away that if Andy Reid calling the plays, Eric calling the plays. Now if he goes to and they have some success, I think they're gonna have to have success though in order for him to get a job. I think he can get a job, but if they go there and continue to struggle like they've been struggling over the years, I think it could be a graveyard for them. If they go and have success, and I think that's what they're banking on, that they're going to have success by him being the coordinator. If he has success the first year, he'll get a head coaching job the next year.
Yeah. Well, I hope it work out for him. I mean, he's one to deserve it, and to me, he's crossing over, and I get it. Well, let me go prove myself to everybody, and hopefully he has enough money. I think he should been in the league a while, that if it don't work out, he can be able to bounce back, take care of himself till he can find another job. In the NBA this weekend, we had a white guy dunking the ball all over the place. And that's saying that white men can't jump. I think that's kind of behind us. Did you get a chance to see it?
If you look at that Johnny, though, he's only had a 2-day contract. So I think they set that up. I think that was great. I think you got a lot of guys can do some amazing dunks if given the opportunity. You don't have to be in the NFL. I guarantee you can go right there in Houston and find guys that can dunk all over the place, but given the opportunity. But he got an opportunity. He's been with Philadelphia, I think 76ers were 2 days or 2 day deal, and had an opportunity to go and showcase his talent, which I thought he was great. I thought he did some great dunks. I thought he deserved to win it. Whether he white or black, he just that guy had some jumps, man.
Yeah. See, one thing about a little man, and not a little like 5'9" or 5'11", but when you're about 6'3", 6'2", your jumps are different because you're jumping higher as opposed to competing a guy who's 6'9". He don't stay in the air as long. You know what I mean? So when the little guy, when you get the little guys and they gliding in there and they doing all the stuff with it, that's a little more. And then when they play it in slow motion, I think that give them a little edge over the other guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, he looked good, man. I mean, his dunks was clean. I thought he should have got a 50 on all of them.
Wow. But yeah, well, look, hey, back to the football end of it, coach, and I think all the positions are taken up. And when you look at your PWI schools, your big schools, I want to say we got 3 coaches in there, along with Prime, black head coaches. We still didn't make any progress. And as I was saying earlier, you really can't talk about the pro level, but you can't talk about the college level because they state funded and federal funded. And I just, I'm still trying to find that key to really say, what do we need to do and what pressures we need to put on at some of these universities to be able to give these black coaches opportunities.
I mean, if I knew the answer to that one, man, I tell you, we probably could be really, really moving forward. But I think we're at a standstill. I think it's pretty much the ADs. I think it's the presidents. You get these ADs now who I think is more CEOs, never played the game of football and really don't understand what it takes. And I think that's where the problem is at. I mean, you get ADs who come in now and everybody want to make money, but you forget about the football aspect of it. And I understand it's a business, and I understand that everybody got to hold their own. But I think black coaches are getting the short end of the stick, even at HBCUs, and I think that's really is a shame.
Yeah. I was watching the XFL this weekend, and they picked 4 white coaches and 4 black coaches. And so having I watched the DC team that's coached by my guy from Alabama State, Coach Barlow. And I looked at the game and I seen Coach Greg Anderson, white coach, defensive coordinator, who done a great job. The team defense done a great job, put a lot of pressure on the other team. And then I seen the other coordinator, Fred Keiss, who's coached in the SWAC. Matter of fact, he's worked for me at Tennessee State, and he was the offensive coordinator, white guy. That didn't set well with me. It didn't set well with me at all. Because Coach Barlow is his opportunity and to get who he think is the best, but it's got to be some type of loyalty, In that case, it ain't them, it's us,
Right. How did that game turn out?
They end up winning 22-24, something like that, 22-25.
Okay, so his team did win.
Yeah. The defense scored a touchdown and they set up 2 other touchdowns or 1 other touchdown, for them to actually win. Offensively, they didn't do well, but defensively they played well. They played good. And and when I look at that, Todd, just so many guys out here that every time we get in those positions, I don't understand it, but I guess that's the fleas that come with the dog. Some people's tolerant, or some people feel different. When it comes to choosing the people who work for them. I always use the saying that they think that their ice is colder than our ice. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm really, when I think about that as well, I look in terms of opportunity. You talking about a white coach coordinator, and you talking about a black coordinator. I can see that at a PWI, but I'm kind of like you. I'm very disturbed when you start talking about at a HBCU. I mean, where do that leave the black coordinator? I mean, they're not hiring you at the PWI. They're hiring you at a analyst or a position coach, but they're not going to give you that coordinator position. So at a HBCU, you expect for a black guy to be the coordinator, offensive defense. But that is not happening, and I'm very disturbed by that too. I just look into our conference in the SWAC. It's 12 schools in the conference, and you probably got 7 or 8 of them. You have white coordinators, and I think that's a big problem, man. And that problem come with, I don't know, down the line, coaches feel that they just can't trust each other, or what? Because I think a white coordinator at HBCU, as soon as he get an opportunity, he's going to leave. So it's real disturbing, man, and for that to happen with Barlow, and I know Barlow is well also. So I don't know. I mean, it's very disturbing, man. I don't have an answer to it. I don't have a solution. But I think black coordinators need better justice than that.
Well, the problem I don't think they understand is that when we have these talks about the injustices of black coaches, and then a black coach get a job, and then he hire all white guys, these conversations fall on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's almost like the little boy just keep calling wolf, and everybody run over there, and there ain't no wolf. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
that's right.
And that's what they could say. They could say that it ain't no wolf, meaning you don't have enough experience. We actually giving them compound reasons not to hire us. Because I'll be honest, I like guys that have some experience in my coordinator spot. I don't want a new guy. I want a guy that's have sat in that seat. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's all about continuity. So now when you talk about hiring a black guy, he got to be the good black guy. Oh, he's a good guy. Well, good guy.
I mean, and then you look at that he had to now, in order to hire a black coordinator now, they want to know, have you worked at a PWI? If you work at a PWI as a position coach, they're willing to give you a job coordinator. Never coordinated before, but they're willing to give you an opportunity to coordinate just because you worked at a PWI.
You could be the running back coach, the wide receiver coach, and you'll come in the SWAC and be the coordinator or the head coach.
Right. And I don't understand that. I mean, that seat is still the same at a PWI or at an HBCU. It's still the same. The X's and O's are not going to change. Either you know it or you don't know it. But they'll give those guys an opportunity to learn on the job, and hoping that they're going to get it done because they get credit because they hired a guy from the PWI.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. we look at Pine Bluff. They just hired the tight end coach from Louisiana Monroe, the worst 1A program in America. And Pine Bluff has been a perennial losing program. Tell me, how does that? What was it about him to say I could take this losing program, HBCU school, and turn it around? What was in his resume to say that? He had never been a coordinator, never been a head coach.
Never been a coordinator, but he worked at a PWI.
Exactly.
So he should have learned something. They're saying that he learned more at that PWI than he would have at a HBCU.
You know what I'm gonna say? Bull S-T.
I understand. I mean, he's just a position coach. I mean, I don't get that one either, but I think.
But coach, there's a guy like you, Willie Todd.
Need to.
Willie Todd, Mississippi Valley graduate, Hall of Famer. You got all the bells and whistles. Did you get an interview?
I didn't even apply for the job. I mean, because I knew just from talking to some of the people there that they was not going to give me an interview. So I didn't even want to just go through the hassle of being in the position just to say I applied for the job. Because that's going to be a tough job. It's going to be a tough job. And if you can't recruit Arkansas, it's going to be tough. I mean, and I think the guy has some background in Arkansas. And that may be one of the reasons why they hired him. I really don't know. But it's going to be a tough. And as soon as he don't win, he's going to be another guy that's going to pull up out of there and be gone.
Right. Then, okay, let's shift over to your alma mater. Now, another perennial losing program hires the receiver coach. I think he played there, didn't he, at Valley?
Yeah, he played for me.
He never been a coordinator.
He's one of my receivers.
Never been a coordinator. Never been a head coach. And what are you expecting now? If I need a plumber,
he's a great guy. I'm calling him a kid. But
none of this is personal, coach. None of this is personal.
Exactly. I think he has potential. I think he can pay for them. I think he'll do well. I think he want to build a program. I think he understands. Matter of fact, he was on the last winning team that we had at Valley. So I guess that may be the spark plug for him to come there and try to jumpstart the program. I think it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be tough. I mean, Valley graduates are going to have to rally behind him. It's easy to talk it, but it's hard to walk it. If you don't put funds in the program, it's going to be the same thing when Danza was there. It's going to be a struggle. But I think he has the love for the university. I think he's going to do the right thing for the university. And if he's not willing to pay his own money, though, I think it's going to be tough. When I was the head football coach there, I used my own money to make sure that things operated in a right manner. I think at this time and age, what head coach uses his own money to make his program be successful? And I did that. And I think until they decided to make a commitment to the program, I think it's going to be tough on him. I wish him well, but I think it's going to be tough. And like I told him, I'll do whatever I can do to help him. But I think it's going to be tough on him if they don't get the funds right. They don't support him in the right way. Not support him in terms of talking noise, because, we got a lot of HBCU alums talk a lot of noise, but talking noise don't win no football game.
Yeah. I just say that I don't get it. If I need a plumbing job done, a big plumbing job, I don't think I would bring I want to see the plumber I want to do a study on the guy that I'm trying to hire. You know, when you call around for second um, uh, ideas of guys that's doing, you know, you want to know their work record. And if I got a big job, you know, I want a guy who has done that job. You know what I mean? So I'll know that he's had that experience in doing that job. You know what I mean? I know I started from somewhere. You know, I'm kind of old school, you know, being the youngest of 9 children, you know, I knew not to run to the car and get a window seat. I knew that I had to wait my turn. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
kind of been my philosophy. And when you get in these jobs, you've been a head coach. You know, sometimes you sitting up in that office and you don't made a big mistake decision, or you got to make one. You know, you gotta understand that you're not making it for yourself. And I think that's what happens. To me, this is what a bad boss is, or a bad person, or you know, that's in those decision making seats, is when they make personal choices. You know, my friend, I don't like this guy because, you know, he's a fast talker, or I don't like this. You know what I mean? When they make choices, they forget and take away from what the choice is supposed to be about the university. It's supposed to be about the school. It's not about, you know, me personally, what I like. You know what I mean? I'll like I like players, coach. I like players that that that's arrogant. I like arrogant players, you know. And somewhere I meet him halfway, as long as he can produce.
Right.
That's
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's what, if I'm saying that right, that where you're understanding, you know, about making decisions when you in when you got to know where your program is. You know, do you got a veteran program coming in? Do you got young guys? Are you starting from the ground? Are you a perennial losing program? Who, you know, I want to find those professionals who know how to handle those situations.
Right.
And it should be some in their background to let you know that they can do and handle the job. Because only 25% of coaches are winners. Time. Only 25%. 75% of them going to lose. You go back 5 years and find out who all they hard in 5 years. I guarantee you 75 or more is not, don't have that position no more. And they hadn't moved up.
Mm. Right.
So yeah. So we just gotta do a better job. It's gonna be real interesting this year in the SWAC conference. Give me your choices. Who's gonna win the conference next year? Go down the
I
line.
I, re- I really feel that Sam, you're gonna win it hands down.
FAMU.
Um, I just yeah, I think FAMU's been close every year, and I think they're going to do it this year. Um, Jackson, the first year they played Jackson State, they won by 1, and Jackson jumped on them. Jackson jumped on them this past season, but I think Willard's going to be fine this year, and we'll see that in the first game. And I think looking at it, I think Jackson and Southern probably going to be real close, probably for the second and third spot. And I think from that point on, I think it's just going to be a toss up.
So you got Jackson State winning the East. Southern and Prairie, you're gonna be fighting over the West. So who's gonna
Right.
come in second place over on the East side? You got Bethune-Cookman, Alabama A&M, Alabama State.
I saw some improvement in Alabama State. I think Alabama State may have a good chance to probably be the second place team in the East, and I think it's going to come down between probably Prairie and Southern in the West.
And now you don't give Texas Southern no love over there. They got a 5-year coach on his 5th year. They finished 5-6. They was young. Where you think they
No,
gonna fall at?
I don't think Texas Southern played decent in spots. They got a real. I think the quarterback is legit. I think he can play. But I really don't know what else they're gonna do if they're in Texas Southern. But I think it's just gonna be a toss up.
You think Prairie View gonna fall off, huh? Fall all the way off.
I don't think Prairie View gonna fall off. I think it's gonna be between Prairie View and Southern again. And I think probably looking at maybe Texas Southern. Alcorn, I really don't know where Alcorn is going to fall. I mean, Alcorn lost 2 coaches to Jackson State, but they did pick up a good coach in Derek Welch, who's going to be the secondary coach. I thought they did well there, but I don't know exactly where they're going to fall.
Right. So let's look at it again. On the East, you got Florida A&M first, Alabama State, Alabama A&M.
I think it'd be Jackson. I think Jackson be second. I think Alabama State will be third, A&M will be fourth.
Right.
I think
you got Bethune, Cookman, and Valor.
That credit. I think Valor will come in fifth, and I think Bethune-Cookman will come in sixth.
Okay. Then over on the west side, we got Southern, Prairie View. Who's going to be third? Alcorn or Texas Southern?
Yeah, I think it'd be Alcorn. I think Alcorn. I think it's going to battle for second. They're going to either be second or third. And then I think the fourth team over there probably would be.
You got Texas Southern, Pine Bluff, and Grambling.
Look at Pine Bluff, but I think Pine Bluff probably would be 6, and Texas Southern probably would be.
Okay, you're forgetting one now. You're forgetting them Grambling State Tigers.
Oh, I do forget. Oh man, that's my school, man. I forgot all about Grambling. I think Grambling probably would be 4th.
Yeah, gonna mix them up in the middle.
Grambling be 4th. I don't think Grambling gonna be Alcorn or Prairie View.
Right.
And I think they'll fall 4th place. And then I think Texas Southern probably will be 5th, and then Pine Bluff will be 6th.
Right. So, Coach, I know you was at over in Minnesota, and now you making another move, popping up, and we're gonna definitely follow your progress, and I'll be seeing you real soon, on a new adventure, and we probably gonna do a little show on that as well when we get everything set up.
Okay, that sounds great, man. I'm excited. Waiting to see how this thing's gonna turn out, and man, we're gonna put our best foot forward.
Well, Coach, as always, man, any last words that you wanna say, get off your chest, or?
No. I guess the last thing, I appreciate the show. I appreciate you doing this, because a lot of guys don't want to come on and talk about the real talk. I'm retired, so I don't have anything to lose, or not trying to have anything to gain. But I'm not afraid to talk about the sensitive issues that we're sweeping up under the rug. I mean, you got a lot of guys out here, man, that understand that they're trying to make a living, which I don't have a problem with that. But I don't mind speaking the truth, and I try to say that with a true heart. But that's why I don't have a problem when you ask me to come on the show and let's talk. I mean, that's what it's about. People pretend like they don't know. They pretend like I didn't know it was like that. If you don't talk about it, no, you would never know. You only want to talk about the issues that you feel is comfortable for you. But maybe it's not for me. Maybe the issues that I talk about, maybe it'll help someone else. Don't necessarily have to help me. Maybe it'll open the door for someone else to get that opportunity. Opportunity that I was passed up on. Opportunity that I thought that I didn't get a fair shake on. And if it give another guy an opportunity to do that, I'm good with that.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you, man, as always. And we'll chop it up a little later.
All right, man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. As we come to the end, Coach Todd said it all. You know, it's about helping someone else and making sure that our future is bright, and especially for the young guys coming through. And as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot, hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, February 20th, 2023. Number 1. Former President Jimmy Carter has entered home hospice care after battling cancer for several years. The Carter Center, the foundation created by the former president and First Lady Rosalind Carter, announced Saturday the 98-year-old former chief executive chose home hospice care after a series of hospital stays. In his more than 40 years after leaving the White House, the work of the Carters and the center focused on improving the global issues of democracy and human rights causes. Number 2, 2.5 weeks after a chemical explosion resulted from a major train derailment along the Norfolk Southern Railway, fear and concern continue to spread among residents of East Palestine, Ohio. Although the initial evacuation order has been lifted, many residents say they are unsure how long they will remain in their homes or even in their town. Upon their return, many are skeptical about circumstances in which they can return to their normal lives. This is especially true following reports of dead domestic and farm animals and ongoing headaches and nausea experienced by humans. Number 3, a vaccination requirement affecting an estimated 10 million healthcare workers is the last remaining major mandate from President Joe Biden's sweeping attempt to boost national vaccination rates. Similar requirements for large employers, military members, and federal contractors all have been struck down, repealed, or partially blocked. Some contend it's time to stop now, citing fewer severe COVID-19 cases, healthcare staffing shortages, and the impending May 11th expiration of a national public health emergency that's been in place since January of 2020. Number 4. The FBI announced a federal civil rights investigation into Rankin County Sheriff's deputies that conducted a drug raid on January 24th in Braxton, Mississippi. 2 black men, identified as 32-year-old Michael Corey Jenkins and 35-year-old Eddie Terrell Parker, were arrested. According to civil rights attorney Malik Shabazz, 6 white deputies raided the home without warning or warrants, forced their way in, and immediately subdued and handcuffed the men. Next, a 90-minute intimidation and torture session where deputies repeatedly punched, kicked, and shocked them with tasers before waterboarding them. Number 5. What does it mean to have a spiritual calling on your life? Our first calling is to have a personal relationship with God through faith in Jesus Christ. After that, our calling is an occupation or way of life that you believe comes from God. You can find your calling by reading the Bible. Read more about it in today's Ministry Monday column. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Being flexible is the companion to peace. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with social justice activist Coy Malone and comedian Chris Paul as we discuss today's top headlines and more. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.